do to make the curb appeal stand out? What's the best use of my money? Because a lot of sellers don't have a whole bunch of money to spend. Make sense? Yeah. All right, so interior should be bright and inviting. Clean or add a fresh coat of paint to walls and ceilings. Shampoo carpets and scrub floors if needed. Clean all bedrooms, bathrooms, blinds, light fixtures, baseboards, vents, and fans. Clean out and organize cabinets and closets. Repair all plumbing leaks, including faucets and drain traps. Remove any extra wall hangings, furniture, knickknacks, photos, and kitchen gadgets. Consider a temporary self-storage unit. That is sometimes something that people should consider. All right, for showings to buyers. Turn on all lights. Why do we turn on the lights? Yeah, brighter, right? The brighter the place is, it looks better. Open window coverings in the daytime. Keep pets secure outdoors. Play quiet background music. I gotta be honest, I've never turned on the music. Vacate the property while it is being shown. Yes, absolutely, 100%. All those things are important. All right, so what's the most important room to a woman?
Closet.
Closet.
Kitchen.
That's a good answer. Kitchen. Why the kitchen? I don't cook. Why is it still the most important room to me?
Entertaining?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, it is a thing. I don't cook. I literally, my husband makes all the meals. You guys will meet him. He brings me salads every day. Like, I have the best husband on the planet. He also does all the grocery shopping. And yet I still want the nicest kitchen. I care about what my kitchen looks like. Don't spend no time in there at all, and it still matters to me. That's what it is, right? Gotta remember that. Yes. And it's very interesting because if the wife hates the kitchen, sometimes that'll kill the deal, even though the husband likes other stuff, right? Because what's the saying? Todd, you know it.
If mama ain't happy, no one's happy.
There you go. I was just gonna say happy wife, happy life, but that's a good one too. Yeah, I mean, these are important things, and it matters if a wife is like, you're gonna have to rip that whole thing out and redo it. So that better be what they're looking for, right? So kitchens are important. All right, page 51, marketing your house. Marcus, will you read those for me?
Marketing your house. My 14-step marketing plan is designed for maximum exposure of your home in the shortest period of time. Number 1, price your home competitively with the current market and price trends. Number 2, advise you on how to attract buyers by showing your home in the best possible light. Number 3, place for sale signage with property flyers easily accessible to drive-by buyers. 4, respond to all buyers' inquiries immediately. 5, optimize your home's internet presence by posting your property in the Keller Williams listing system, KWLS, on local and global MLS systems and on social media with plenty of photographs and a description of your property. 6, market your home on multiple websites, including my own website, my KW local office site, and KW national site to attract both local and out-of-town buyers. 7, post your home on my proprietary search app and other KW agent apps. More than 1 million downloads and counting. 8, create flyers and comment cards for viewing of your property. 9, distribute just listed notices to neighbors, encouraging them to tell family and friends about your home. 10, target my marketing to active real estate agents who specialize in selling homes in your neighborhood. 11, include your home in our company and MLS tours, allowing other agents to see your home for themselves. 12, create an open house schedule and market and host the open house to promote your property to prospective buyers. 13, target active buyers and investors in my database who are looking for homes in your price range and area. 14, provide you with weekly updates detailing my marketing efforts, including comments from the prospective buyers and agents who have visited your home.
Nice. What do you guys think of that list? That's a really important list. And by the way, that's a really good list to use to stand out if you do anything that's kind of unique. So one of the things I do for people is if they have a property that they're looking to sell, I will actually call all of the agents who have both sold in that area in case they have other buyers. So that they represented the listing, and I will also call the people who represented the buyers in case they have other buyers. And I point this out to my people who have listings, and they love it. They're like, you're gonna call those people? I'm like, yeah, I'm actively looking for a buyer. I'm not just gonna do the, what do they call it? Is it the 3 Ps? Yeah, post a sign, put it on the MLS, and pray it sells, right? I don't do the 3 Ps. I actually actively look for a buyer for you. Call my database, call the people who sold in the area, right? Get out there and make it happen. Those are the ways that you can sort of set yourself apart. So if you come up with things that are kind of unique, add them to that list, and it's a great list. That one's something that I would definitely share with people. What's your standout, Todd? You have a standout you would include?
I think hitting your database is really important. I think the Maui average is 0.7, that an agent will actually double end a deal, meaning they have the buyer and the seller. My team is at 20%. We are
Wow.
by far the highest, because when we get a listing, we will actually explain to the seller, we're not going to come to the MLS for a good week. So we'll have professional photography done, tell them what things they need to do to declutter the house or depersonalize it, and then the entire team starts hitting their database. And it's such a massive difference, because I always tell everybody, do you want to play with another agent, or do you want to, have it within your own team, because it's one person working on the file for both sides. So the quality of agent you get to work with, that's the number one thing, and you get a double commission. Granted, sometimes you'll have a reduced commission if you're doing both sides, but it doesn't matter. It's the best way to handle a deal. I love that way. Some people think it's a little harder because of the dual agency part. Trust me, the dual agency part is very easy once you get a nice script going for it and how you handle it. But again, there's nothing better than handling your deal both sides.
I agree. I love double-ended
Yeah.
IPOs. It's so much fun. Yeah, and that's a good
Can I
one.
ask a question on that?
Yeah.
quick? You mentioned reduced commission in that capacity. Do they generally come to you asking for reduced in
That's
most
a
of
good
those
question.
cases?
It depends
Because
on-
I would when I bought houses in
Yeah.
Orlando, they had both sides.
It depends on the time that you sit down for your listing. I will not offer a discount right off the bat unless I ask. So usually I almost never take less than 6%. It's very rarely that we'll take less than 6% as a team, because we do more than most people when it comes for a listing. And then the seller will sometimes say, if you secure the buyer, because we do advertise how many times we double in, what will we do? And usually we'll say a 0.5 point to a full % off on commission to make it work. But you don't have to, of course, because at the end of the day, you're still doing all the work.
Right.
But it's something I don't offer automatic, but
If they bring it up.
I would say, honestly, even if we don't bring it up in a listing when we get the offer, I would say probably 25% of the time the clients will ask, hey, are you willing to give us a discount for it? And of course the answer, you have to make the decision how you want to run your business. This is your business. I am a big fan of getting referrals and having 5-star Zillow comments. So I will pretty much do anything to make a client happy. I'm very lucky that the monetary gain is not the biggest issue for me anymore. These days, it's much more about the reputation.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I agree. I love dual agency deals, double ending a deal. I have one right now. It just makes life so much easier when you're not dealing with somebody who's not doing what they're supposed to do on the other end.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah, all about it. Nice, agreed. And that can be part of, when he's talking about the marketing in your house, that can be a piece that you do. You have, we really work on dual agency, getting the double-ended deal on your scenario so that we can work both sides. We know we have, that's what I always say to people. I go, I know I'm working with a great agent. Why would I not want to do that, So yeah, definitely. Awesome, I love that. So add things like that, anything that sets you apart, makes you a little bit different. That's a good place to put it. All right, so page 53 is about global exposure. I would really, versus page 53 talking about global exposure, I would talk a little bit about global exposure, and then I would talk about how your website is actually now globally exposed. So I would talk about the fact that your website has the ability to search everywhere, not just Maui. So you're attracting buyers from everywhere, because that's a real sales piece for you. That's a marketing piece for you. All right, so when it comes to pricing, page 55. So a well-priced home creates interest, attracts buyers, generates showings, and produces offers in a shorter amount of time. An underpriced home may sell quickly and yet may attract buyers who wonder what's wrong with it, as well as be overlooked by buyers looking in a slightly higher price range. It's funny, I don't have a problem with people wanting to underprice their homes. I don't really come across that very often. Most people want to overprice their homes. An overpriced home will be evident by a lack of interest, fewer showings, no offers, a longer time on the market, and possibly price cuts, which looks bad from the buyer's perspective. Now, I would imagine that most people don't deal with people who want to underprice their home, but I think it's strategically put in here as a subtle message that you can underprice your home if you want to. A competitive price is not based on what sellers hope for. A price is not what sellers need or want from the sale. And you get that a lot, you need to net X amount of dollars. Well, that's fantastic. It's absolutely nothing to do with the market rate, right? Don't say it like that, but that's what you can think. Price is not what sellers paid originally or what the house down the street sold for. Price is not what a website or another agent suggests. And I get that a lot. And you never really know if they're, well, so-and-so says I should get this for my property. I should be able to sell them for this. Or should be, you know, it's let the numbers speak for themselves. Lay out what things have sold for and let those numbers speak for themselves. And then sometimes when you're gonna find with certain sellers, if you just sort of let them work through it on their own, don't be combative with them, they'll get there on their own, and they'll kind of talk themselves into a better price sometimes. So sometimes you gotta be quiet. Sometimes that's the best script, is just be quiet and let them work through it. All right, price is determined by the market. The price is what buyers will actually offer, and competing sellers are accepting, and it's based on the current market. Those properties that have recently sold. This locally set market price will influence whether buyers even see your home in their online search, whether they schedule an in-person showing, and what price they will ultimately offer. So, just an FYI, one of the things that I do encourage with pricing is I'll always encourage a price that's slightly below a main number. And here's the reason I do that. Like somebody says, oh, I want to list it for $522. I would encourage them to list it for $519 because a lot of people are going to be searching at a max of $520. You want them to see your property. You want to get to more people. So you encourage that, like just under that main number, right? I want to list it for $1,010,000. I'm like, just list it for $999 so we can go to all these other people that are searching, right? Because there's all these automatic searches out there that people are already, they're just going to be receiving the property. You want all those people to be getting your property. Make sense? So encourage them to get that like 1,000 under that number, which is really important. All right, you're gonna do a full CMA, and you guys are gonna be able to work through a CMA in class. We're gonna actually have you working through some comparative market analysis in one of your classes, which is awesome. So we're gonna teach you how to do that in another class. 58. All right, so, Elena, did I have you read recently? Lost track of where I am.
Okay, I don't mind reading it.
58.
58,
Would you read that one for me?
Yeah, a guide to selling your home. Price. Tell, after studying the comparables, taking into account the unique characteristics of your home and its setting, and using my knowledge of the averages in your neighborhood, I've prepared my recommendation. Remember that my primary goal is to net you the most money possible, and I believe this pricing plan, matched with my 14-step marketing plan, will draw agents and buyers to your home and position it as highly appealing and highly competitive property. Write the average sales price for the area and the price per square foot. Then write in your recommended price range for their home along with price per square foot. For example, average $250,000 and $100 square foot, recommended $245 to $255 and $98 to $102 square foot. After looking at everything I've presented about condition and price, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with this price recommendation? Is it what you'd like to list your home for? Are you ready to make a decision to work with me? If yes, great. It sounds like we've got a price and are ready to put a sign in the yard. Let's do it and get this house sold and get you back in.
Nice. So I do like the range. I like to give people a range, gives them a little bit of power. Of course, you want to make that range very realistic for the price. And I always, most sellers are going to go with the higher price, but they feel like they've picked, right? But the range is nice. First of all, it doesn't tie you to the price. It's not like I said, list it for $250, because then if they found out they could have got $255, whose fault is it? It becomes your fault, right? So you give them the range. This is what things are selling for, and this is what we think is very realistic for your property. Where do you see it, right? Do you, what percentage do you think, Todd, do you do range or do you give them a set price?
I kind of go upon each seller differently.
Depending on their
Yeah,
personality.
usually I'll say, I will say a range if it's 100% up for me to do. Sometimes I'll just tell them exactly the price that it should be. I think their motivation makes the determination. If they say, they want it sold now, then I usually say, this is the price to sell it now. If they're saying, we want to sell, but it's not in a rush, at that point I'll give them a range.
Yeah.
And when they pick the top of the range, I fully put the blame on them for right away that it's not going to sell fast. Be like, that's great, we're going to test this market, but please understand, you're going at the very top of the range according to our stats and what we see. You could be sitting on the market for the next 4 to 5 months. Please understand, I don't want to get a call from you asking why something hasn't sold if you're going to go with this range. So I like to preface it and put the blame on them right off the bat, and that's probably the only time I'll ever put blame on them. But I detest the phone calls of why hasn't my property sold when they've
Yeah.
gone against what I've told them to do.
Smart. That makes sense, yeah? See, he's got lots of good stuff. So I can ask him questions. Awesome. Okay, so they just broke it down. They gave you an average. Of course, condition sometimes plays into it, how much they're willing to do. I personally like to have the conversation of price before I have the conversation about the condition or anything that needs to be done to the property. Because if they do pick the higher one, my strategy is usually to say, okay, so that's the challenge price to get it sold for that price. So now it's got to look gorgeous. So here's what we have to do. Not what we can do, but what we have to do, right? So you're kind of doing that strategy with them. Awesome. Okay. So listing agreement document, that's going to be in your zip forms. That's on page 61. And you guys are going to be filling out your first listing agreement with your coach or your broker anyway. They're going to help you through that, teach you how to do that properly. Seller's disclosure document. Just so you guys know, you are not, the seller's disclosures is for the sellers to fill out. You are not to fill out the seller's disclosure. It says so on the very first page. That's just an important piece. It's theirs to fill out. Yeah. All right, so page 64 is a moving checklist and end of appointment. I tend to like to give people a moving checklist when we're farther along in the process. That's just me personally, because I feel like they're getting so much stuff in the beginning that it just sort of gets buried, but that's up to you. What to expect next. Always good to be having the conversation of what to expect next. I'm almost always doing that. Like the next step is going to be, so they're sort of looking for it. And sometimes the conversation is the next step is going to be kind of quiet for a while. And so you're going to be thinking, what's happening? Because there was so much happening and now nothing's happening, right? But I will let them know that. So it helps their expectation. Make sense? All right. So what to expect next? Sign in the yard, lockbox on the door, posted in the MLS, staging consultation, professional photos taken, flyers created, schedule open house. So figure out what you do next. The moving checklist on 67 is actually pretty good. But again, you can use that to modify it. All right. So I'm going to have you guys break into groups of 2. And I'm going to have you go through. You guys won't get through this because it's only going to take about 10 minutes each side. And you guys are going to go through this, starting from the very beginning, each side. So partner up again. Pair. Pair, get it going. All right. So start from the very beginning, you're only gonna do 10 minutes each side, so again, our A's go first. I want you to just do about 10 minutes through this whole presentation. And then I will let you know when you are going to switch, so like I said, A's start. Do it. Do it.
I note about objections, even with a perfectly prepared and scripted listening presentation, and all the confidence in the world, you're bound to come up with what are known
So,
objections. You're just not sure yet. Your commission seems high. We'd like to sleep on it. We're interviewing other agents before we make a decision. How long have you been in the business? Objections are simply comments or questions from the seller that may seem to slow down or hinder progress toward an agreement. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say when you're prepared. Objections are evidence of concern and or uncertainty in the job is to address
Do you have any
and
questions about anything that was
allay.
presented?
No question.
Okay, well,
Okay.
be sure to, okay, we've got 6 goals for
Where we at?
Whenever you
Oh, no, we're doing this.
We need
So this
to
is-
Maybe it-
discuss your motivation for selling,
Okay.
define your surplus
Take
experience,
transparency
expertise,
into your
and
assessment.
what you expect.
Here.
You're
going
You
through
can
it.
explain the selling process from listing to
So
closing.
go through, okay,
Review the
so
3 factors.
Yeah.
Start
Keep your
commenting.
home
Yes,
sold.
exactly. Like
So
you're doing the
Decide if we
presentation
work
with him.
together.
in preparation,
Go back
so
to
we're gonna
weeks, right?
confirm the
Okay, we're
appointment
like-
time. We're
I
gonna
guess
show
I
up on
can clarify.
time
Ms. Seller,
a little earlier, have a copy of the listing
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
for sellers
serving your needs.
with no
Okay,
script.
Mind
so
if I ask
in
a few
preparation,
questions?
Have
of
business
selling your
cards.
home, first it's
Why are
With a
they-
copy of the listing.
So at this point,
I
go
always
through
go
the
to
tell
like
and
on-
ask like you're actually doing it.
Oh,
with him.
okay.
Yeah, so you're actually sitting down
Okay.
with him.
Alright.
Yeah, so you're
Okay,
practicing.
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Alright,
Yes.
or-
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Like actually interact with each other. Yeah.
I
Be
was
the
trying to
actual
review
Review the
process.
listing packet.
I was
with
wondering
your-
if you
Still
could
needs
be
to be
coffee at the
sold.
same time, but
No, no, no.
it
We're gonna
always
review
spilled
this
on me.
pre-listing
Do you have a
packet,
chance to
Do you need to
that
sell
I
within a
The
certain
guy
time
that's
frame?
selling your home?
I'm
No,
looking
no,
at
no,
it.
it's a lot easier.
In the next 6
Okay,
months.
well, let's
Perfect.
review.
We can do that.
Oh, I
as
can't
well.
remember.
Before we move on.
Did you have a chance to review the guide to selling
There's
your
just a few
home?
questions
And
that
let
I need for you to
Yes.
answer before.
No. Well, let's review the packet
We have
quickly
lots of
before we
tools
move
that
on.
can help.
There's
Okay,
some
so we
questions
have
at the
6
end,
goals for today's
for you
meeting.
to answer.
Let's quickly run through those
Get
goals.
their preferred
Are you
communication.
staying in
Okay,
the area
perfect.
that
goals.
We've
they
got
are?
6
Discuss the
goals
motivation for
for
selling.
today's meeting.
We're
Quickly,
gonna
let's run through
define
the 6
that.
goals.
Then
So
maybe
let's
like
go
expectations
over
and
the
direct
second
and
step.
Review what you
Okay,
can
so
expect
first
from
is to
seller
discuss your
relationships.
motivation for
That
selling.
same
So why are
Explain
you
the
selling
selling
your home?
process,
Great.
listing to closing.
Great.
Review the 3 factors to get your
I'd
home sold
like for
and
you to have a
decide.
great experience.
I guess that's what we like talking about.
Being very clear.
Okay,
So,
so
what
define
your
your,
expectations
About
are. So
goals
I'd like to
set,
ask
we'll
you
see,
about that.
decide whether we want to work together. So,
Great, ask.
may I list your home? You may list your home, that would be great.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, so there's
one
three
is
out-
not so desirable,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
10
that's
is
all right.
extremely desirable.
Yeah, I would.
What one thing has to happen
Because that's
to
just
try to
setting
set
yourself
yourself
up.
experience to
I
be
would
10.
like you to sell my
Yeah, that's
home
not ours.
for as much as
So
possible.
it's
Selling your
Do what you're
Not
You
yet.
have 6
Time.
months, I understand.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
add
yes,
just
because
one
I need
more
to
thing.
close on my home.
What other
is
thing has to
the
happen
for
to
the
make this
1031
excellent?
exchange.
So remember the listing
Yeah.
conversation is about them, their needs, not about
Wait,
you.
wait,
You're there to ask
understand.
questions, listen to
Okay,
their
let's
answers, your
review
job is to
what
make
you
sure
can
that
expect
Add
from
just
Tyler
one
Williams and
more
me.
they
thing
see you
here.
as
Four,
their
we're gonna
advisor,
explain the
one,
selling
to make
process.
this a 10
So,
plus, since you're
On
advising
5,
them,
we'll
they'll
review
help
the 3
you with
factors
what
get,
they want.
that get your home sold, and 6
So
decide
ask.
to work
So,
together.
Mr.
Alright, so,
Yeah.
about goal number 6, so
Close.
let me explain.
worries.
So,
the
Mr.
Sorry, I get a lot of
second
money.
one.
Don't be surprised if I come back to that and ask you something.
I
Uncle
will
Matt,
list your home
okay,
with me,
to
and
do a better job of marketing your property,
you may not
for
list
your
your home
needs,
with me. To be honest,
man,
that wouldn't be
do
so
you mind
great.
if I ask you
Or
to talk
3,
to
I may be able to take the listing
Yeah,
off,
well,
not there.
you-
Yeah.
So,
Track record.
Alright, thank you for this
I'm
opportunity
very
to get your
proud
home
of.
sold.
We have
Uh,
number one in
yeah,
the world.
okay.
In
My
closing,
kids,
we're number one on the island.
well,
We're
to
the
be
number one
honest,
training company. We have the best mobile proprietary search app. You can access hundreds of real estate,
Okay.
hundreds of real estate websites.
Alright, I'm gonna ask you one more question. So first,
To settle
alright,
down.
this is.
If you ever decide to settle down.
It really is
Call
awesome.
me,
Yeah,
wherever
best
you're
around.
at, find the best agents in your area.
we need to sell them
Okay, so
at
first
three
off,
at a time.
why-
Technology, I'll go
Where you
over
going?
you also.
We do,
You do
but the
what?
problem is we
Have an app
have to
that
make
I'm
sure.
going
No, but I
to.
would like my own house.
Email, text
Soon to
me
be
for
for a while.
email,
I
text
need
me.
a
Okay,
garage.
so
I
she
need
You're
very
an email
interested.
person.
So, okay, tell you, talking about
So
the.
is she looking for
Talking
representation?
about what have your.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Cause I
So
have
why
it
are you
set up.
not-
I
so
think
I
they
can
decided that
send it to
it'd be
people.
best.
Yes.
And then what happens
Okay.
if like, they send it,
Okay, great.
like, cause I had
Stuff
sent
getting
it to
us
somebody.
Sure.
And
I
it
thought they were-
goes like directly to
So
the
you park around.
company office.
Your
So
lights
it's
are
like,
going on.
No,
Yeah.
mine.
No, I just
Yeah,
feel like-
my picture on it, it says
So have
download.
you discussed it?
Yeah.
And then you load it, and then
We
it's
can't,
square
we can't be
footage.
sitting
And
for,
Altogether.
what is the Maui average?
by the way, we never give your
6
data
months?
to any
6 months.
third party websites. Completely
I'll hire
in-house.
someone for you.
Like,
I will
And
delegate.
then it goes to this page.
A little bit lower,
So
maybe
you need to sell within a certain time frame. I know you mentioned earlier that.
So are you staying in this
possibly
area?
because you want to close within your 60 days.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh, yeah.
off track, but I was just.
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes and no, okay.
Perfect.
But I understand this market or not.
And then it has these six.
Well, that's great, so
I do have a price in mind that you think
There
is
you go.
Yeah, so
So
I
I
sent it to
softball
them.
not afraid.
And, she was like, hey,
You can send it to
Okay,
me, see what it looks like on my phone.
Delivering
And talk to Sam, because Sam is
plus
really
plus
good on
experience.
it.
I'd like to tell you,
And work our way up.
and the girl
that
from
like
there,
to,
okay.
Are
For
you
you to have
staying in the
very
area
serious,
after your home sale?
and that begins with me being very clear on what
Oh, I
your
didn't know that.
expectations
Alright,
are.
I'd
So
like for you to have a
So,
great experience selling your home.
Okay.
And that
And
begins
here's
with
what
me,
you're going to
being
get
very
from
clear
me.
on what your expectations are, so I
Alright,
would like to
we're
ask you
gonna
about.
Quickly cover the professionalism
So
and
you're asking me
to
questions?
provide
I guess so, yeah.
highlights category listed on the page.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not so desirable and 10 being extremely
So on a
desirable,
scale of 1 to 10,
what one
where
thing
1
has
being
to
not so
happen in
desirable and
this
10 being
transaction
Paperless
desirable.
transaction
What
management
one
system
thing
means
has
no
to
more
happen
faxing
in the
paper
transaction
packets.
for your
We're
experience to
driving
be
I will
across
now
town
What
for
is,
6
what
hours.
is
No more
important to you
initial
about that?
Really,
changes to
really
switch
solid
contracts,
communication. It
and
looks like we're at a
Overfax
price
So I would like
contracts
to
or
sell-
documents.
We need to talk about.
Having the paperwork online provides a level of security for your confidentiality.
Dad just
about,
really
what
did
other
other
thing,
things
what other
that
thing
stored
has
here.
happened
Available
to
for
make your
up to
experience
7
10
years.
plus?
And all parties to the transaction
Did you
can
find
collaborate in
my-
one space.
What?
At the other time, and still keep the
So what kind of
negotiation or
communication do you
closing
like? What do you
process
prefer?
moving.
I like texting, I don't like emails because I get too much of the day.
But
And
maybe
dating
find
and
out-
dating
find
has
out
been
your
my
Dating
fault.
attitude.
Sounds like she's pretty complicated.
Alright,
Yeah.
if we could just add one more legal that is supposed to be
Yeah.
a
In
10
fact,
plus
one
plus,
time I said
yeah.
digital stuff.
What is
He
most
was like,
important about
This one's gonna sell to sign right now, I'm not gonna do it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Some people get freaked out, like my grandpa, I mean, I think an older generation, they want
I
that
would say,
part.
Thank you for your honesty, knowing how to deliver your
Reiterate this
customer
for another
experience helps
time.
ensure you that
What you're gonna get from
We could just add one more thing to this
So let me
experience.
tell you a little bit about the
service
company
we-
we're
What would that be?
Keller Williams.
That's what we're gonna-
communicate in
And
ways that
why
work for
we
you.
need,
We're gonna have clear
and
communication
why
and find
we
your
need
guys'
instructors.
Always be kept
And what are we gonna do after
listening
that?
and closing,
So,
you'll know
I'll
70% of our
First
marketing
off, we're
efforts,
reliable.
offers
We
on
have
the
a lot
table
of-
and the steps
we have a
leading to
lot of
successful
knowledge.
closing.
We're gonna get the price
And
for it to get it
technology,
done quickly,
which
so
I
we have
feel like
to.
we're very
That's
technology
your real estate
based. That's what
There you
we're
go,
doing.
bam.
Just
Clear
question.
communication, find that house,
Alright,
find
so
that
as your
partner,
experience
and
grows, you can share more about your
set the
abilities.
price right, just right. Okay.
Marketing
Well, thank you for your
Alright,
honesty.
so what you'll get from me, what you're gonna get
Experience
from me is
plus
a chart.
tools and automated buyer
Communication,
systems allow
that's
you
a
to
huge
reach
one.
active
Your needs will
buyers
always
who
come
are
first.
on your list.
I will all,
So answer, so I've been found
I've
through.
experienced and expertise in marketing and pricing.
So, let me tell you a little bit about the company that I work for, Keller Williams Realty, and why you made a great decision to talk to
Alright,
us
you're
about
also gonna get from me the technology piece, staging and satisfaction.
reliability.
My technology.
Founded on the principles of trust and honesty, Keller Williams.
I know.
employees
So,
With my
let's
technology.
talk about
emphasizes
the
the importance
I'd like
of
to
having the integrity to do the right
I
thing,
don't want to
always
this out
your
providing
needs.
each phase along the way.
It reinforces my belief in the success and ultimately determines the like
It's kind of first kid, but yeah.
That's offering, offers and negotiations.
Technology,
Previous
use technology tools.
Our track record is proud to work for the largest real estate
We are in the process
by
of
aging
storing
count. It's
together
proof that
what
we
you
offer a
need.
superior level of
I
service
You're doing
understand.
staging, but you also
Negotiate.
sell because of correct pricing and great presentation. I know what it takes to make a terrific.
Knowledge. Keller Williams
impression
Realty,
in your home sold.
has been named the #1 training company across the industry by Strange Magazine. Or
relations
Right away.
and
You
our
stay
Right
head
away.
to the real estate industry through.
we identify those needs together, cancellation,
Curriculum and
protect our
resource
rights
materials.
and our
And
relations.
it's what prepares
And
me
you're
to
disappointed.
Perfect.
provide you.
I assure you I'll do that.
I'd like
You always
to
have the final
explain the
decision.
selling process to
The,
them, and what services I'll bring to
Well, as your
As
experience
with
goes,
options
along the way.
accept.
we'll share more about your abilities and
Okay,
expertise. New agent.
Really good.
Alright, now you're gonna switch, continue from where you are in the presentation, bees. So start right there.
Have you ever
Well,
walked
not
in
only
the
is Kelly
No, I have
not
So let me
Okay,
know.
so it means
real estate agency worldwide agent, we also
I'd
have
like to explain the selling process,
I
and
do
what
have to let
services
you
I'll
know
be
that.
Let me tell you
providing
about
at
the
each
technology.
phase along the
So,
way.
leading edge tech tools and training give me
First
the
is,
effectively marketing and marketing online.
my
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
proactively
Keller Williams
communicate on
listing
a
system.
regular basis.
We call it KWLS.
Status, inquiry, showing,
The property spent more than 350 home searches.
Second is
So I don't get my
office
keys back in. No.
More than
Every
76,000 sites.
Discuss to in detail,
Property search.
point out the pros and
That's
cons.
all, every single
Offers
minute
and
employee
options,
in
buyer's
the system.
agent on
Because
your
you don't
behalf,
see
Property
opportunities
comes directly to me, so I can
So it's
follow
like
up
that
quickly.
time of like,
Potential
because like
buyers.
you
Think
decision.
about mine is
Really?
that with
Well, that's all.
170,000
Well, I
candidates, we're able to get the word out.
I guess so, because I didn't,
Coordinate
I mean, I don't know anything.
For buyers.
Details.
Teamwork, Keller Williams loyalty was designed to reward agents who work together based on the belief that we are all more successful if we strive toward a common goal rather than our self-interest. I'm confident that every Keller Williams
Oh, my
shares a
personal
common goal.
experience.
considering
Oh,
the
you are.
client
So
and
the,
that's what
you still have your.
I have never sold a home either.
So what you get from me,
Well, let's review what's
what you're getting from me is the following.
Do you have any questions?
That's when you guys.
Who I am.
Not really, let's go over the closing table.
I'd say also, I kind of reiterate that
So,
I've worked through the connections we have to Keller Williams
So-
and,
as a seller,
my
you
sphere of
are
influence
going
as well.
to be paying
My question is, tell me.
the mortgage balance.
My technology, we can
Yeah,
conduct
because.
your entire real estate transaction online. Paperless transaction management system means no more fixing papers, back and forth, across town, missed signatures. But if this is something that you're like, I can completely handle it for no more initial changes to smudge contracts
Market fee or title assurance.
ineligible,
Okay, and after the closing,
illegible,
make sure you
illegible
keep the
handwriting,
following papers,
overfax contracts or lost documents.
uh,
Having the
copies
paperwork
of all
online
closing
provides a level of security
and
for
all home
real
improvement
estate
receipts
transaction
on the home.
documents. Have you ever used DocuSign or any? So that will be a challenge for you. Every change, initial, and signature is stored and available for at least 7 years, and all parties to a transaction can collaborate. You can be out of town and still keep the negotiation and closing process
Good.
Great condition.
internet access. It is extremely,
So, the location and condition of your home are the first things that attract buyers when you're agent. Can't change location, just change the condition of your home so that it's appealing as possible.
communication.
Marketing of the home is crucial.
Your
and
needs
This is where my
come
expertise
first.
comes in.
I will
I'll
provide the
review
service
my
we need
comprehensive
to
marketing plan with you
communicate
in a
in
moment.
ways that work for you.
We have also discussed the
That's one of
prices
the things
that
we
you
had,
provide,
we were talking
buyers
about, I
that
had
you
to fill
offer,
out
and
some
how
things that,
how to price
are
the home
important
for
for you as far as
targets.
communication, whether once a week, once a day by phone, email, or text
Factors
messages,
that
it'll
get
always
your
be
home
kept
sold
in
are the condition of
listing
the
to
house,
closing.
the marketing
We know the
of
status of our marketing efforts,
the
offers on
house
the
to the
table, and
buyer,
steps leading to a
and
successful
the
closing.
price of the house.
Next,
So what kind
our
of
communication
conditions should it
experience and
be?
expertise, the complexity of the real estate transaction will be well handled, smoothing the way for your listing and sale. I will remove
Okay,
any
well,
potential
first
challenges
impression
before they
begins
have
with
the
the curb.
opportunity to appear.
Keep the grass freshly
It'd be
cut,
great to have
apply
Williams
fresh
as
mulch to garden
our
beds,
collaborative
add
agency
small
if there
flowers,
is issues coming
remove
up.
all clutter from your yard.
For questions.
Apply fresh paint, fresh stains,
Your home will get the
fences,
exposure it deserves for our marketing systems to maximize your
clean
property's
the
exposure
windows
to
inside
buyers.
and out.
Labor tracking tools and automatic buyer calling systems allow you to reach active buyers.
Inside of your home should be bright and lighting, or add fresh coat of paint.
Pricing, your home will be priced right, just as
Clean your
needed and
carpet.
sold quickly.
putting out bedroom
With
stuff,
understanding both the big
white
picture and
fixtures,
the
big
latest local
scores,
trends,
fans,
and sales
With
data.
any
that
extra
you
long
need
needs,
to
basically
combine
clean and
and
organize
put
the cabinets,
kitchen gadgets.
together.
Repair everything that needs repairing,
Tell.
plumbing.
My technology
faucets,
conduct the
drains,
entire real estate transaction.
and remove any extra clutter,
Okay.
furniture, photos, kitchen
So let's
gadgets.
review,
Yeah.
my 14 summer
Technology.
designed to attract buyers.
Do you wanna make your
Suite of technology
as
tools
inviting as
will help us
possible?
communicate
And
Always-
let your
always know
potential
where we are
buyers
in the
picture
process.
themselves.
Allow us to work
Not
together.
me and my surface seals.
See, homes sell because price is
Okay.
great for
That makes
everyone.
sense.
I know what it takes to make the terrific first impression.
Okay, next let's review my
Satisfaction,
marketing plan.
guarantee,
That's designed to attract buyers.
relationship is dependent on meeting and exceeding your needs. Identify those needs together to make deep selection, protect your right to
My 14-step marketing plan is designed for maximum exposure to home in the shortest period of time. Price
The home selling prices, that's.
competitively with the current market. Advise, we're gonna advise you on how to target.
Yeah,
buyers
work
to shop your home at the best possible price. Basic sales signage, flyers.
The home selling process, I am committed to selling your home for the most money in the shortest amount of time, at least a month. I've prepared a competitive price
People who
recommendation,
are-
provide a step-by-step process.
So what is
Any
the
gangsters.
best time for me?
I've earned your business and agree to move forward with an agreement to hire and assist in the sale of your home and moving. The next three phases of the selling process. First, servicing and marketing, my 14-step marketing plan will begin. I will be proactively communicating on a regular basis, keeping you updated on the status, reporting, showing, and feedback,
He likes to shoot.
offerings, and
What's your
negotiations.
proprietary search app?
Every offer presented will be discussed in detail with
Each agent.
pros and cons.
Okay.
So I don't know how to.
Buyers
I
and
send it
never have.
to people in my group because at the
Figure that one out.
You will ultimately make the final decision
Okay.
to which offer we accept. Every offer will be presented to you.
Optimize.
Contract close, I will coordinate the closing process, manage all details of the while keeping you in the loop. Track and monitor every phase of the inspection, title, and money process completed.
And on social media, use funny photographs in the description.
I personally will verify every transaction for you.
My KW local office site, KW national site, to try to local and out of town buyers. Post your info on my proprietary search app and other KW agent apps.
Did you have to do
More than
this?
1 million downloads.
Are you done?
No.
Buyers and
What do you-
credit cards.
When you get with that lady now?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
The overdrive.
Instant notice to see, encourage friends about your home.
Learning.
They target
So-
their marketing to active real estate agents, specialize in front homes.
Here you go.
Include your home in our company
Smooth closing.
MLS.
Closing process,
Allowing
finalize
allowing
the
other
sale of
agents
your
to
home.
see your home
Makes
lifestyle.
everything official.
Create an open house schedule and market, and post the open house to promote properties to prospective buyers. Target active buyers and investors in my database who are
Sellers
looking
come
for homes
pay
in your price range and area.
Mortgage
Provide you with
balance,
weekly updates,
penalties if
detailing my marketing efforts, including comments from prospective
other
buyers.
claims on your property such as unpaid property taxes,
Awesome.
unpaid
Very
storage
detailed.
assessments on your property. Document
I'm very confident that you're gonna be selling my house.
state commission and legal fee or title insurance.
Okay, so your home will be advertised throughout the web on multiple sites locally and nationally.
Documents,
Do
all of them.
you have any questions?
Look me on Facebook.
It will be on Facebook.
At the closing appointment, the closing
What,
agent
I'll
will purchase contract.
I just won't-
identify what payments are owed,
I might share it if you tell me.
prepare documents for the closing, conduct the closing, ensure taxes, title searches, real estate commissions, and other closing costs
I
are
started
paid
an
and considered
Instagram
with the
page
buyer's title
that
authority.
I haven't really like, I just started it.
Yeah, I know what you
Bring to
mean.
closing, taxes, secure, instructor, ready.
What do you do, Kate? You play music, sweating?
It's usually, I can help it, but, the radio show.
Three factors
two
that get
bands,
your home sold, condition of the house, marketing of the house, and price of the
real
house.
estate and lift it over, so.
marketing of the house, obviously, love the marketing of the house.
Convention thing. And it's a
Marketing itself off our.
So there's a lot of practicing.
You could control the market
What
with
dance are you in?
your boss and how to run.
Uh-huh.
Well, I always felt
They're
like,
based
I
on
know.
because I would come in and.
This is, I think, really
And then
important.
everyone's
A lot of
But this is where it goes with all like.
You would
It's sure.
all the time,
You
set
sell
on
one
every
every
single
thousand
month.
respectively, so.
Technically,
and jazz out of 5 people in the band.
You have some.
Probably never making it.
All right.
Well, that's all.
You're
Good
done.
guy.
You're done.
Let's wrap up. Go ahead and turn to page 78. So here are 5 seller objections. We're gonna discuss one of them for 2 minutes. Which one do you want? Do you want that we need an agent with more experience? We need to think it over. Another agent will charge less. Why won't you reduce your commission, or why should we pay?
Number 2.
Number 2, we need to think it over. I hear you saying you wanna be confident. If you were 100% confident in me, you wouldn't bring this up. If you knew I was going to do everything possible, you'd sign. The truth is, you can never know that. Let's sign the agreement and know that you can cancel with me anytime you're not satisfied.
Bingo. That's easy to do.
Yep. You can cancel with me anytime you're not satisfied. Absolutely, it's in the contract. That work?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Mhm.
I didn't even take 2 minutes. All right, we'll do one more just because of a second. Seller's objection 1, we need an agent with more experience. Most people aren't gonna say that to you, but that may
That's
be
what
your fear. So let's read that one. Keller Williams is different. I'm partnering with others in my office. We share in the profit of our office. When one makes money, it benefits the rest of us too. So I have lots of motivated agents and many years of experience working for you. Is there anything another agent said that they would do that for some reason I forgot to mention? Did I cover everything you expected to hear? Sounds like you believe I can get your home sold. So let's move ahead now. Good. All right. 2 ahas from today and I'll let you go.
That last one was awesome, just that alone, you know, getting that.
Number
Getting
2.
that sign it, you know, you can cancel it anytime, it's not this big deal, just sign it.
Good. Awesome. One more.
Me and Cherish were talking about the comparative marketing analysis, how important that is to master, to give to that seller, because I think the perception of their home could be completely, home's price, right? Completely different, or, you know, from what the actual is. Because what Cherish said was their, what was her word you said? I just forgot it. Why they would think it would be different. Like what they value, right, in their home.
Their
Their sentimental value.
Yes.
Plays a big role in
Yes.
that price, you know.
Well, good. Then you probably want to go to class 5, which is price to sell with your CMA. That's what you guys are going to be working on tomorrow. Yep, which is tomorrow. All right, awesome job. Thank you so much for coming. I definitely want you to watch the listing presentation now that you guys have been through it. Watch Adam's listing presentation that I'm going to send you. You guys will be, that'll be pretty cool because you'll be like, okay, there we get stuff in there. All right, thanks for coming. Have an amazing day. And I will not see you guys for a while.
Why?
Like next week around.
Yeah, you have other people.
Yeah, I think maybe next week.
You have other teachers for a while. Aren't you tired of me yet?
No.
Come on. I'm tired.
Good work with you.
You too, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, definitely. And you see Mary and Charlie, I said,
She's actually watching the kids.
right on, so you'll definitely see her.
Yes. I wish I could like adopt her, but never my It's great.
She sounds like she's pretty loyal and happy with you too, so.
Yeah, she's like a mom, and it's so funny, like I got home the other night, and she's sitting in the container, and she's like, these super tablets, you should just put them in the water, and she put it
Do you
in the
want me
water,
to-
and it looked like